Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host and the noob, Caliban. I'm so naive. What should I do? My heart is a kaleidoscope. As you'll find out.
Yes. You'll find out.
I want to see you right now.
Oh my gosh.
These are all lyrics from Moonlight Densetsu.
Yeah, they are. We're a couple of magical people ready to moon crystal power make up this episode. Sailor Noob is brought to you by the power of sisterly love.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. You can be as Dominic Toretto is going to find out. Family is thicker than blood, right? Isn't that what it is?
I thought
sometimes your sisters from another mister can be even closer to you than your real sisters from the same mister.
Okay. I think I followed that, actually, all of the misters and sisters.
I'll talk about the episode. You'll see what I mean.
All right. Moving on. Today we are talking about episode number 72. Hijo no Rubeus, Kanashimi no Yon Shimai in Japanese. Rubeus the Heartless, the Tragic Sisters, or the version that we watched, Cold-Hearted Rubeus, the Four Sisters of Sorrow, the English translation, and the English title, Sibling Rivalry.
So cold-hearted Rubeus.
Yeah.
Look into his eyes. Why is it a different version?
The title was different. I don't know,
What a language.
Yeah.
Am I saying hello, or am I saying get on the ground and give me all your money?
Well, I think it's just it's a way that it can be even translated into English. You can different versions of that subtitle are going to translate it differently, if that makes sense.
I guess I was thinking about the phrase "so far so good" the other day, and about how you're saying how's it going? And so far, it's so good. Mm. It should really be that, right? But we like the cadence of, we like that. So we've really we've lessened the meaning of how good it is. And often it's used sort of ironically, it's my car's on fire.
So far so good. Yeah, right.
Right. So, I mean, they must have a ton of things like that. Where
for sure.
Not only is it maybe a cadence, or there's an implied sarcasm in something, and then you've got the little tree means something in Chinese, and it means something else in Japanese, and so maybe we're playing on that, and I don't know how these guys walk around and do this. I don't know how they communicate
you can
at all.
really break it down too, because certain parts of kanji, it's when I see this part of a kanji,
the house means
something, right?
Yes, that implies a certain state,
right? And there's these three lines that I see that, and I know that means water,
right? It's raining on the house,
but yeah, right,
yeah.
But it combined in different kanji, it means different things.
So I wonder if it because there is more of a subjective meaning to the pictograms of their language.
Yeah.
If that means, we know that as we just stated, means that there is a variable meaning sometimes. But does that enforce then more of a cultural rigidity in the apprehension of the language? Is there, and I'm making a lot of assumptions about Japan here, I admit that.
Right.
But is there a certain because we're all socialized, we're where we are.
Yeah.
To react to things, to understand things, and so is that more important for regions where people are using characters that could mean a bunch of different things, but I live here and that means this, and I'm probably not traveling far afield from where I am. Mm-hmm. So, and does that contribute to somebody acting sort of out of place, or acting like, he's not from around here? That could lead to even more confusion in the language. And so that's why maybe this is one of the sources of their strict social code. That's a big swing.
I don't know. But I don't know necessarily about the way you write things. I mean, I know you pick somebody's name, right? At birth, and you pick the kanji for a reason, because it means a certain thing, but you could read that kanji that combination of kanji could be read several different ways.
Yeah.
But you picked it to mean a certain thing. But we've talked about briefly before about how there are different dialects in different areas in Japan and like different words that mean different things. So, I mean, that certainly could be...
This guy's coming down from Sapporo, and he's always saying, like, hey, what do you know? Well, that means something totally different here.
Right.
I hate these guys, these foreigners.
Right.
Well, that got weird real fast.
Yeah, right. Well, you can be a gaijin and still be Japanese.
Whoa, mind explosion. Everybody who's writing a screenplay about how you moved to Japan and wanted to race cars and they called you a gaijin.
I know.
No, not you. Han. He's Korean.
Right. He's a gaijin.
That's the gaijin I'm talking about.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Not you, fake Paul Walker. Been watching a lot of the Fast and Furious movies recently. I'll tell you about something that I do like and I want to see more of. Yeah. And that is... we got a review!
Yay!
We got an iTunes review.
Yay, thank you.
I did not expect, when I went on iTunes, I did not expect to see a review, and I'm not sure this person expected to leave it either. But I'll tell you who it's from. It's from Dan Anime, and he... Dan Anime? The Dan Anime? Of the Newport Animes? Or maybe it's just like, it's all one word. Somebody's like, Danime.
There you go.
This is an anime. It's Danime. This is Danimification.
Oh my goodness.
Here's what Dan has to say. He says, I listened to the show on Spotify, but I thought, hey, why not post a review here? The hosts are great. They make me laugh so much. I look forward to Fridays for the newest episode. Mika and Cal, if you're reading this, keep doing a great job. Smiley face. 5 out of 5 roses.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I love that you put 5 out of 5 roses. That's just the cherry on top.
That's the rating.
I know.
For the show. Yeah, we appreciate... Thanks, Danime. We appreciate that.
Thank you,
and,
Danime.
As I suspected, a lot of people, I think, listening on Spotify. And so Spotify is the Iron Curtain. Like, we have no real connection to our listeners. You know, we don't necessarily know play counts or subscribers. Right. We don't get reviews. So... if you're listening on Spotify, get down with your bad self. But maybe take a page out of Dan Anime's book and hop over to iTunes just so we know you're out there.
Yeah.
Or, follow us on social media, to join the Discord, do all the things. But,
yeah, do all the things.
Yeah, that's going to help us out, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. So, Cal, how are we doing in the charts?
Oh, you want to know how we're doing in the charts?
Yeah, I do.
The charts are okay. We're still holding strong with Canadian listeners. In the animation and manga department. Yeah, love it. And we've actually showed up on the Great Britain charts now.
Nice.
So to our listeners in Great Britain, that's a pretty big area.
Yes.
So no specific greetings to anybody, but thanks for listening. And we've appeared recently on the Spain charts for animation and manga.
Nice.
So yeah, Spain English speakers, welcome to the show.
Yeah, right.
Or hola if you're not an English speaker, but I don't know what else you're getting out of the show. So.
Well, it's hot in here like it's hot in Spain, although I've never actually been to Spain, so I don't know. This might be a more humid heat.
I've seen a lot of cowboy movies made in Spain, so I'm assuming it's hot. Yeah, my fingers were a little hot, so I dipped them in my coffee to cool them off a little bit.
Oh,
it is hot in here.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be that way?
Because we're podcasters, and this is the life we've chosen.
You know, in the hunt for Red October, here he goes. The book and the movie, the Russians create a sub that is silent. It's a stealth sub. And the way it works is it doesn't have a screw.
Propeller?
No, the propeller, yeah. So it doesn't make noise the same way. It sort of sucks water in the front and kind of pushes it out the back. And it's fictional. I don't think that this really exists. And so it sort of glides underwater, and that's why you can't hear it. That's why it's so dangerous. And Sean Connery. And
I knew who it was.
Don't you think if we were rich, like, or if we, worked for Radio Podcast One or something like that, they would have that technology, like a passive cooling technology? Or is Joe Rogan sweating his balls off just like we are?
I'd like to imagine that he is.
He's a pretty sweaty looking guy, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that's
He's
part
just
of his
sweaty in general.
aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
A little powder, Mr. Rook. Get that away from me.
Yeah.
Unless it's creatine powder.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Would you like to give us a synopsis of today's episode?
Snorting my creatine powder. Yes, we will get right to it in this episode and on this show as we are focusing on the Rainbow Room in the UFO, and Creepy Wise Guy is on line 2, and baby, he ain't crooning. He tells Rubeus, your future has 2 paths. Inside you there are 2 wolves.
Oh God, no.
One is kind of a jerk, and the other has no fashion sense. No. One path leads to glory. The other leads to darkness, defeat, and death. So that's the bad path.
Right.
Rubeus is sweating this a little bit, like we're sweating. And Creepy tells him, there's only one way for you to survive. Kill the rabbit and the sailor soldiers. I mean, that's 2 things, but we get what he means.
To him, maybe it's 1.
Rubeus says, I know. And I'm going to throw all my cards out there. I'm going to make the glory of victory mine. Weird flex, but okay. The stakes set, we change scenes to Hikawa Shrine, where the girls are raking leaves into big piles, and Chibi is doing her part. She's playing in the leaves.
Yes.
That's her job.
Yes.
Usagi doesn't agree, and she yells at her, and Chibi says, oh, sure. You're the one that blasted over here as soon as you heard there was a yam roasting party. Come on! Usagi says, you are so not cute.
She's been harping on that.
Still trying to make that work.
Yeah.
Let's help her. Chibiusa, more like Queebiusa. Got her.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
She's short.
I know.
And she'll soon be gone. Usagi and she's owned by Jeffrey Katzenberg. It's what? Usagi
weird.
continues to harangue, but Koan, who is there, bends down to take a leaf out of Chibi's hair and says, hair is a girl's life. You have to take care of it. And Chibi says, Koan's nice. I love you. Berthier is also there raking, and she's enjoying the fall environment as she says, I never knew how beautiful this world was when I was fighting. Then she gets a little wistful as she says, I wish I could help you, but I don't know any crucial information. I was just a puppet. About the Black Moon Clan.
Right.
Not about just, bus times or something. Ami, who I guess is wearing her dad's cardigan and bow tie. Cardigan sweater. It's a weird look. It's certainly a look.
Yeah, she's worn it before.
She's just got into Weezer. She says, we're just happy you're our friends. Over at the leaf fire, this seems unsafe. Maybe we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Makoto has finished cooking the yams, and Usagi wants one, but Mako says, no, Chibi gets one first. As Chibi is eating her yam, Usagi picks her up just by the scruff, and she's like, give me half of that. She's like a hungry otter. Chibi puts the whole yam in her mouth, and she puffs the last of the steam in Usagi's face, and they end up chasing each other around the temple grounds. Watching this in the Rainbow Room is Petz and Calaveras, and Petz says, I cannot believe this is what's left of the Black Moon Clan. I can't believe it. I cannot believe this is what's left. Calaveras says, awful lot of traitors around here. Soon, suspicion will fall on us. Ding, ding, says Rubeus. You're up. And Petz says, I'm not as foolish as my younger sisters. I'll kill the rabbit. No problem. And Rubeus is like, is that so? Okay, here you go. And he throws her a wand-looking thing with a gem and a crystal at the top. He says, this wand will increase your dark power many times. Get this straight. This is El Chanceo Ultimo. It's for our Spanish listeners. Kill the rabbit and the sailor soldiers, or don't come back. I'll put up a no pet sign. You will be an ex-pet. You got that? And Pet says, yes. And he says, do your absolute best. And he yeets out of there. Calaveras says, wow, you stepped up to the streets fast. But there's no more room for error. And Petz is like, I got this. Just don't get in my way. But Cal says, shh, girl, your plans suck. And Petz says, you're a bad sister. And they start fighting over the wand. But none of that matters because they are literally eaten by Usagi in a strange scene transition.
Oh my God.
They just disappear into her mouth.
Terrifying.
So as everyone in this show will eventually. Usagi is double fisting steamed yams, and she is in heaven or Albany, but not Utica. It's an Albany expression. Either all the girls have enjoyed a yam, or Usagi is eating them all because everybody's just laying around Ray's house while Usagi is going ham on yams.
Yeah.
Luna must be on break this week because Mako says, You're going to get fat if you eat too much. And Usagi's like, don't care. And Ray says, being insensitive like this is why you got dumped. And everybody's like, oh no, girl.
Yeah, don't go there.
Ami offers that eating too much can slow down your mind. And just like in the spring episode, everybody gets real cartoony. Remember the cherry blossom viewing party?
Yeah, the Hanami episode.
Yeah, this is kind of like a reflection of that.
It is.
They all get real cartoony. They like pop up with their little facts, but they're like laying over each other like they're 2D.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's 2D anyway, but you know what I mean? And they got like thick outlines around them.
Yeah, good point.
Mako says, there's another problem when you eat too many yams. And Minako says, yeah, your stomach trumpet will sound. What?
Stomach trumpet? Really?
Is this girl talking about farting?
Yeah, they're talking about farting.
Are yams the musical fruit in Japan?
Well, no, but I looked it up. So, okay.
Wait a minute.
Okay,
This sounds like Kira Muru.
Well, not exactly, but so they're actually
Today on Kira Muru, stomach trumpets.
Yeah,
let's
right.
talk.
They're actually Japanese sweet potatoes, and they can cause gas because they have a lot of sugar and starch in them. So they can be known to upset your stomach.
Cake has sugar and starch in it.
Yeah, I know.
Does cake make you fart?
I don't know. Does it?
To the laboratory. Usagi says, I don't care. And as she takes another bite, she rips a huge fart, represented on the soundtrack by a discordant synthesizer chord.
I know. I appreciate that.
I can't wait to see what Deke did with this. So there's no time for denials because Usagi sees a point of light descending on the shrine. The light grows in size until green tendrils come out of it and snatch away or abduct Koan and Berthier.
Yeah.
The former Ayakashis are pulled into the sky and the light disappears. Everybody's freaked out, but the girls get right to work. They stuff Chibiusa in a cupboard, finally, and tell her to stay put. Usagi meets up in the courtyard of the temple with the cats and the girls. Meanwhile, Chibi thinks, they were taken because of me. I have to find the Sailor Scouts. And she immediately leaves the cupboard. And she arrives at the door just in time to see all 5 Sailor Scouts transform. Mm-hmm. And again, we get the constant cuts back to her face.
Yes!
It's like, seeing them transform.
How long it takes for them each to transform.
Oh my god, these girls with the same hair color, build, and facial features as my friends are my friends?
I know!
The Sailor Scouts run off to find their kidnapped friends. Mercury uses her RoboCop visor to track the dark energy, and Chibi follows behind them. On what looks to be Rainbow Bridge on Tokyo Bay, which opened on August 26th, 1993, which means it was under construction when this episode was being animated.
Oh, and
so
this
it's
bridge is
a
under
construction site where they have to fight.
Yeah, this is contractually obligated, yes.
We see that Petz and Calaveras have Berthier and Koan trapped in a floating bubble. Calaveras says, I don't think anybody's coming for these two. Let's just, let's just get rid of them.
I know.
But Petz says, wait for it. This wand has given me infinite power. Calaveras wants to borrow the wand, but Petz knocks her away, saying, these two betrayed me. I don't trust you. And Koan and Berthier wake up, and Petz says, tell me where the rabbit is. But they just say, please stop fighting the sailor soldiers. And Calaveras is like, wow, what happened to you two? And they say, we learned that the Black Moon Clan is evil, and they'll do anything to achieve their goals. And Cal is like, yeah, might makes right. Am I right? And Petz says, forget it. Die! But she's interrupted by the arrival of the sailor soldiers. They say, collectively, they all deliver this big speech together. Your beliefs are wrong. We fight for this beautiful planet. For good people, all living things, love, happiness, and the future. For bad girls who trample on those things, skinny kawate oshiokyo.
Yes.
Petz says, you're fools to come to their rescue. And Calaveras says, didn't you know it was a trap? She's like, she can't believe it. Like, clearly this was a trap. You are in the trap now. Ray says, yes. And Mercury says, give us our friends back. But Petz says, yeah, no. Dark Thunder.
Yes.
Now get used to Dark Thunder. We're going to hear this many times in this episode.
Yeah.
And let's see if you can guess the over-under on how many times we'll hear it. I'll have an answer at the end of the show.
10.
She blasts at them and it's black lightning flies out.
Yes.
Not the black lightning.
Yeah.
The girls dodge out of the way, but the lightning blasts away a chunk of the bridge, and maybe we're not going to open in August.
Yeah.
Petz begins to bombard the sailors with dark thunder,
Yeah.
as Rubeus watches from the rainbow room thinking, when I no longer need you, Petz and Calaveras. We'll be right back. He doesn't finish that thought. More dark thunder. The scouts are on their heels. Mako says, you like power? Here's power. Sparkling wide pressure. But Petz returns with a dark thunder.
Yeah.
And it knocks Jupiter down. Ami uses her visor to scan the situation, and she sees that Petz's increased power comes from her wand. Mm-hmm. And Venus says, it's like I was made for this. I'll get it. And we get a Venus love me chain right at Petz, but she misses.
I know.
Because Petz is already off and running down one of the bridge supports to our girls. Mars blasts out a burning mandala, but Petz knocks all the mandalas out of her path and gives us a dark thunder.
I should have said it with you.
Just spamming it. That knocks a hole in the bridge and the girls onto their asses. Petz goes in for the kill, but Berthier pleads for them to stop fighting. She says, Rubeus wouldn't hesitate to sacrifice you to reach his goal. And Calaveras says, what kind of trick is this? But Berthier says, we're saying this for your sakes. And Cal says, I'm not listening to this anymore. Petz, come on and off these two. And Petz says, okay, and gives us a dark thunder that blasts all three of the sisters. Petz says, as long as I have this wand, my power is infinite. I could rule our clan. I have no use for you. She blasts them again, and they fall to the ground. But the Sailor Scouts catch them before they hit the bridge. Calaveras is beside herself. She can't believe that Petz turned on her.
I know.
She's just been picking on her the whole show.
I know.
Why would she do this to me? But Sailor Moon puts a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Calaveras is like, I don't know you.
Pretty much.
But Usagi says, it's natural to be concerned if someone is hurt. You know, human emotions. And Calaveras says, so that's how it is on this world. And Koan says, this is human love. This is what human love is. Mm-hmm. I'm wearing a giant turtleneck and 9 yards of muslin skirt. Berthier says, Sailor Moon and the others have taught us friendship. I'm wearing a blazer, but also high-rise shorts. Calaveras.
And a bow tie for some reason.
Calaveras sheds a tear sideways.
Yes.
A bow tie sideways.
Yeah.
Calaveras sheds a tear and says, so we were wrong. I look like a cheerleader trapped in amber. It's a nice moment.
It is.
Which Petz ruins.
Yeah.
By saying, worthless scum certainly get along with each other.
Yeah.
Classic. Jupiter says, I don't think she's the kind of person we can reason with. Calaveras says, wait, she's been possessed by the power of that wand. Yeah, that's probably it. Your Honor. Anyway, we'll see. Mercury says, we have to work together. And Petz prepares to blast them all to hell. But Mercury digs Shaban spray out of the toy box and fills the area with fog. Now Venus hits her with the Love Me chain and knocks the wand from Petz's hand. And instead of destroying the wand, Jupiter gets a little payback by hitting Petz with a sparkling wide pressure. Right there. Put your big size 12 thing down on that wand. But it says she's like, bam. She hits her with the lightning.
That's our Avenger.
Yep. Avenge myself.
Yeah.
She becomes running up finally as the girls are tending to Petz, who is furious that they would pity her. Just then, Rubeus reveals himself, saying, it's nice that she gathered the enemy and the traitors in one place. He says, I never thought you'd succeed, Petz, but now I can remove all my problems at once. His eyes flash, and the wand sinks into the floor of the bridge and begins emitting a beam of energy into the sky, like a DC movie.
Yeah.
Everything begins being sucked towards the dimensional crevice that this wand has created, like a black hole. Mm-hmm. Everybody holds on for dear life. Luna says, I don't know, there's no way to close a dimensional tear. But Petz says, no, we can. If I use the last of my power to strike the wand, the black hole will also disappear. Mercury says, no, you can't. But Petz says, oh, you don't care if the world's destroyed? I like how they're going to do good now, but they're going to be jerks about it.
Of course they are.
She dark powers, I don't know, instead of dark thunders, into the breach, but it's not enough, and she's sucked in. Just before she disappears, she's caught by Calaveras' whip. And Cal says, I won't let you hog the spotlight. I'm doing good, but in a jerky way.
Yeah.
Koan and Berthier grab Petz' hand to pull her back, and Berthier says, if we lose you, we wouldn't be the 4 Ayakashi sisters. Mm-hmm. And the show cuts back to the Sailor Scouts watching this like, whose show is this? What the hell? Should we go? The bridge begins to crack up, and Sailor Moon looks worried, but Tuxedo Mask appears, way up above, on top of a crane.
Of course.
He was climbing it this whole battle.
Yeah, right. They've got this. I gotta make my entrance.
He says, join your powers as one, and you can seal the tear. How does he know?
I don't know.
But he's right. Artemis says he's right.
Artie, why are you holding out on us?
The wand is creating a tunnel between 2 dimensions. If you combine your powers inside the tunnel, it will destroy the black hole. Yeah, that'll work.
Sure. I don't know.
Yeah, why not? On the count of 3, the girls all let go and fly into the hole. Inside the hole, the girls are floating in this weird no space, but they see the wand still glowing with dark power. Mm-hmm. Holding hands, the girls focus their Sailor Planet power on the wand, which ignites and shatters the wand. Yeah. The sailors are thrown back into our reality, and the threat is over. Sailor Moon notices that Tuxedo Mask is gone. Koan says, Sailor Moon, please help my sisters, which is the cue for the NPH, which turns our girls into good girls.
Right.
While Chibi looks on from behind some girders. Chibi notices that Sailor Moon has the silver crystal. Mm-hmm. And so does Rubeus.
Yeah,
as he watches this whole thing go down back in the Rainbow Room. And he breaks his mirror in frustration.
He breaks a lot of mirrors.
So, unlucky guy.
Yeah.
Back on Earth, the 4 Ayakashis have opened a beauty shop together where anybody can be beautiful. Mm-hmm. But, it's a hard road. Berthier is always digging into the stock. Petz has no patience for any of this. And everybody is at each other's throats. But Mako observes that you get along as well as you fight. Mm-hmm. That's on a pillow somewhere at Mako's house. Ray points out that the Ayakashi don't have a wacky wild card like Usagi, which sets Usagi off, and the 2 groups of girls bicker on as we go out on Otome no policy. Mm-hmm. The end.
The end.
Or is it?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
The end?
Question mark?
Well, when you say the question mark, you don't have to do this. You can just say the end question mark. Although that doesn't sound good.
Oh, all right. So what are your thoughts from this episode? Any burning questions or anything that you've been thinking about?
Well, the burning answer I want to deliver is 9. 9 Dark Thunders.
Oh my God, really?
7 voiced, 2 unvoiced, where she definitely does a Dark Thunder, but she just doesn't scream it.
So, okay.
It isn't like the wand gave her the ability to melt your brain or evaporate your blood or make you grow a tail. It's just like, it allows me to do this thing over and over again forever, and it's very strong.
Well, it's supposed to be stronger than her normal power, right? It just
But they're doing weird stuff all the time.
Yeah.
They're every day they're like you always freak out when they teleport, and I'm like, well, why wouldn't they be able to do that? They have all these other powers. But
or like mind control, or
it's like in D&D when your character maybe learns spells. You're a wizard, or just a spell casting class.
Yeah,
and then you roll good on the thing, and you get a fireball wand, and suddenly it's going to be all fireballs for the next 5 sessions.
Well,
until that thing runs dry.
Yeah, that's a good point. It is very similar to that. Yeah, and she's not. It's not as if Rubeus has said that you have X amount of power in here. And maybe it's like feeding off of her.
Here is your wand. It has 12 charges.
Right. Maybe it's feeding off of her power or her energy or something. I don't know.
There doesn't seem to be any dark pact here. It's just, you can use this, but it's also a bomb when I'm done with you.
Yeah. I do have some trivia about Dark Thunder. This is the only episode where that power is actually named. Like I think she uses it in other episodes, but this is the only one where she says it, and she says it. You said 9 times.
9 times.
Yeah.
Well, she
wanted
uses
to make
it
sure
and she
you
wears
got
it
that.
out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She'll never use it again.
No.
So let's get it all in here.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels rushed. We're not reviewing the episode yet, so I agree with you. I will hold back, but it feels kind of like they went, all right, this is all done. We got other stuff here. See our new opening? We got to move on to the next phase. Maybe we did one too many ice cream episodes or something like that.
I don't know.
Or we were driving to the airport. That took too long. But, normally they would do things a certain way. 1, 2, 3, 4, just counting randomly for some reason. But it almost feels like they're like, okay, done. We're done.
Well, and then, so Calaveras and Petz are always like paired together, right? Like they don't really go off and do things on their own.
Yeah, they're a team.
They're pretty much a team, and so that one episode where Jupiter and Venus got their new powers, that was, although I really liked that episode, you could say maybe that I don't think that was as rushed as this one is. I think this one is like super rushed.
Well, maybe it's not an effect of production. Maybe it was always planned. I just don't know why they planned it that way.
There's a lot in this
episode. They've had 4 villains previously.
Yes.
In earlier seasons.
Yes.
And although they weren't all equal in stature or effectiveness, they all got their own thing.
They did.
They all went out on their own terms. And this is just more like, yeah, I know we'd usually go do, but that's done. No, let's just do something else. Come on.
Right, like they're losing their attention or something like that.
This cake is delicious. I'm not going to finish it. Just throw it on the ground.
I love the Ayakashi sisters. Let's cram this in there.
Right.
Yeah.
You like these guys? No, we're done with them.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, otherwise, it's fine. I mean, I'm reluctant to say too much because I know that we are going to review everything at the end.
I wanted to point out that I think that so now Chibiusa knows their secret.
Yes.
Right?
Now, finally, she knows.
And she knows everything. She knows that Sailor Moon has the silver crystal and everything too. But the Senshi don't know that she knows.
Yes, it's very exciting.
I can hear your sarcasm.
What I don't get is, presumably, and we know that she's, a young child. Who knows what they know or remember or whatever. Can't do anything with them.
Wow.
You tell them, remember, I got a meeting next Tuesday. They never remember. But it's like, I got a 2-foot tall Palm Pilot that pees its pants all the time.
Oh my God.
I don't know what any of this is.
So weird.
But presumably she knows them in the future, right? Like the Sailor Mercury, Sailor Jupiter, these are the heroes of Crystal Tokyo.
Yes.
So she's never really had a long conversation with them, but when she sees them, does she think, oh, I know, it's Sailor, I'm a member of Sailor Jupiter. Yay, save me, Sailor Jupiter. Or is it just, because we get shades of that when she gets locked in the cupboard. And yeah, she knows that these 2 women have been captured by these bad guys that are plaguing Tokyo. And why won't Batman kill the Joker? He's just going to do it again.
Right.
Somebody has to deal with these people. And so she just figures, oh, it's the Sailor Scouts. Is that because of what I just said? Or is it because she knows that the Sailor Scouts are the defenders of Tokyo in any era? Or are the sailors in the future different sailors? Is this a legacy hero thing? Is it the daughters of... All 4 of them had 4 female daughters who took up the mantles of... Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like if you were you're a window washer right now.
Yes.
No. Change it up.
Okay.
You're a window washer in the future. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
And the cable on your cyber window washer thing breaks. Right? And you go, no, Spider-Man, help. And he swings in, Spider-Man saves you.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Maybe it's the Spider-Man of 2099. I don't know. Then you fall through a time portal, not off of a window washing gondola.
Oof, thank God.
And you get a job washing windows in the past. And when the thing breaks, if Spider-Man comes save you, you go, oh, that makes sense. In any era, he's saving window washers. I saw a video.
Wow.
I saw a video on the internet of a high wind accident with a gondola where a guy, the thing blew around, and how they are next to the building.
Yeah.
It went like parallel to the building and whipped the guy off of it.
Oh my gosh.
But they wear harnesses.
Yeah.
I don't think they like to, but I'm sure he's glad he did. And the video didn't go long enough for me to see Spider-Man. JJ would be very mad at this video, but it does happen. You always say it in like a movie or a TV show. It's like, oh, come on. No, these guys never. How many window washers are there? And they're always falling off these things. And then Spider-Man has to save them.
Well,
That really happened.
Yeah, right. Proof that it happens. It was caught on video, everybody. I don't know if she's like, they'll always save Tokyo, or like, you remember her Pooh, her voice on Luna P, told her that she had to go, that the Senshi would help her save her mother. So she's now thinking, okay, if I need help, serious help, find the Senshi.
Right, but as a child, this is irresponsible for a child, because she has literally met these girls 20 times and never once said, help my mom, except for that one time.
Yeah, I know.
At the construction site.
Yeah, I know.
And she could have ran after them as they were running back to the phone booth to change, and been like, please help my mom. But not that.
I think she initially was trying to do everything herself.
Yeah, she's a very obstinate and self-reliant, self-sufficient 6-year-old.
Yeah, well, she tried making rice and curry by herself and realized that
her first plan was, I'll just hold a gun on these people.
Yeah, right. I don't know where she got that.
If they see that I'm packing a rod, this thing's over.
I know. Jeez. And I don't want to think that anybody else gave her that idea.
Why did she appear to Usagi and Mamoru?
That's a really good
initially,
question.
When she fell out of that plane. Did you see what our commenter said?
Yeah, I know.
Where'd you fall from? A plane? Like that makes sense?
It doesn't. That is not a thing that happens.
Your Honor, a courtroom is a crucible. In it we burn away irrelevancies until we are left with a pure product, the truth, for all time.
Oh man, this is so intense. Data's on trial for his life.
I know. This episode, The Measure of a Man, is based on the Supreme Court's Dred Scott decision of 1857.
And every week on Backtracking, we take a look at the real-world events that inspired classic Star Trek episodes. Sorry.
Shut up! Who are you?
We're the hosts of Backtracking. I'm Caliban.
You will both be taken to the brig and from there to the nearest starbase, where you will answer charges for what you have done.
And I'm Gooey Fame.
This is not a game. This is life and death.
You can follow us on Twitter.
Backtracking is available wherever you listen to podcasts.
You go f*** yourself.
Today on Kyoro Kyoro Muro, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, we're going to talk about Japanese sweet potatoes and momijigari in Japan. And we will get to the latter in a little bit. At Hikawa Shrine, according to Chibiusa, they are having a yam roasting party. They are actually
steamed yam.
Yeah, right, exactly. They're actually Japanese sweet potatoes. We talked very briefly about Japanese sweet potatoes, or satsumaimo, in episode 57, as it was included in Usagi's bento box in that episode. Sweet potatoes are originally from South or Central America and came to Japan via China sometime in the late 16th century. The satsumaimo were grown in southern areas of Japan, such as Kyushu, Shikoku, and southern Honshu, due to their warmer and more mild climates. In 1719, so as early as 1719, I should say, a Korean envoy noticed that steamed satsumaimo were being sold from open stalls in Kyoto, which was the...
It's an Albany expression.
Right, which was the imperial capital at the time. So the sweet potato is called satsumaimo because it originally came from Satsuma province. This was an old province of Japan that is now the western half of Kagoshima Prefecture on the island of Kyushu.
Is that where Satsumas come from?
Probably.
Right?
Yes. So during the mid-1700s, which was during the Edo period, it was not uncommon for rice crops to fail, creating a shortage of rice or maybe a rice famine.
What do you do?
And this happened frequently in the Kanto region. Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that. So since Edo, which is, of course, present-day Tokyo, was located in Kanto.
Sure.
This made the rice shortage a significant issue for the shogunate. Hunger and crop failures created a situation where the people rioted. And uprisings were a threat to the shogunate's rule, so they did what they could to alleviate the matter. A man named Aoki Konyo, who was a student of both Confucianism and rangaku, which literally translates to Dutch learning, and by extent, yeah. And
stop.
Okay.
Stop.
Yeah.
We don't just do Japanese culture on this show.
Yeah, I know.
The Dutch had kind of a hard time of it. With every ethnic group that migrated or emigrated to the U.S., had to go through their thing. Some of them still are going through their thing. But that's why, the Dutch precedes so many different. It's an adjective for so many different nouns, and it all means like a bobo thing. It's like Dutch, Dutch poke, Dutch oven, all these things. So it's just like Dutch learning is like. Some colonist, American colonist in his grave is like, shoot, we could have used that one.
Oh.
What was that, Dutch learning?
I don't think that that's what it means here, but okay, I was not aware of that. So it's kind of, sometimes it gets translated as Western learning because it was Dutch learning.
No, I know. The Dutch was the only Westerners that were over there.
Right,
so it just
exactly.
made sense.
Yeah. It's a so it's
you put a wooden shoe, it doesn't wear out.
Oh my God.
Dutch learning.
Oh my God. It's a body of knowledge developed by Japan through its connection to the Dutch enclave of Dejima, which allowed Japan to keep basically in touch of Western technology and medicine while they were a closed country. And through rangaku, some people in Japan learned many aspects of the scientific and technological revolution occurring in Europe at the time, helping the country build up the beginnings of a theoretical and technological scientific base, which helps to explain Japan's success in its radical, speedy modernization following, opening up again.
Yeah.
So Konyo experimented with cultivating satsumaimo plants from southern Japan in the Kanto area. And at the time, Kanto was thought to be too cold to cultivate satsumaimo, but Konyo's experiments proved that was incorrect.
What temperature does it have to be to grow something in the ground? I guess if the ground freezes.
I mean, I guess they were just working with the science that they and the knowledge that they had at the time.
Soil. No sun.
Yeah, right.
It's got to be hot.
This is the hottest soil there is. So satsumaimo plants grew quickly, especially in the environment just north of Edo, which today is Saitama Prefecture. This area had been especially affected by the rice crop failures. In only a couple of years, the satsumaimo was recognized as an alternative carbohydrate to rice, and Aoki became known as the, quote, potato god of Edo.
They were the first culture to invent the potato ricer before the mandolin slicer.
Yeah, right. I see what you're saying. Yeah,
I mean,
good.
What was it like for villagers? Like, I like a bowl of rice. What was going to eat a potato? What's this?
I think that, their sweet potatoes were around, but they weren't in that particular area, Yeah. And so I think they were trying to get people to eat them as well, this starch isn't available right now.
Right.
So,
They're like,
try
if only
this one.
somebody could just, just run it back and forth a bunch of times and just make little rice-shaped pieces of it. I just feel a lot better about that.
That's just how I like to eat my food. So signs of the appreciation people felt toward the modest satsumaimo can still be seen to this day in the form of several imodera and jinja, which are Buddhist temples or Shinto shrines around the Kanto region that are dedicated to the satsumaimo.
Huh.
Yeah.
Potato shrine.
Yeah. There are over 100 different varieties of satsumaimo in Japan, but the most common ones have red skin and a white flesh that turns yellow once cooked. Satsumaimo are firmer than American varieties of sweet potato. The Japanese sweet potato is sweeter than those found in the U.S. and has a nut-like flavor that is reminiscent of a roasted chestnut. They are a highly versatile food and can be utilized to make noodles, confectionaries, sweets, or added to curries, soups, or stews. Satsumaimo are in season in fall and early winter in Japan. They are a very popular seasonal food and are thought of as a quintessential fall food. Satsumaimo are thought of as nostalgic for many Japanese people, a food that reminds them of home and the changing of the seasons.
You know who Proust is, right?
Yeah, mandolins.
Madeleines.
Madeleines. Why did I say mandolins?
Because I was talking about mandolin slicer before. Yeah.
Yes, he loved...
the mandolin.
Yeah.
This is the way
to
slice vegetables. Yeah, he ate a madeleine, which is a little cookie.
Yes.
And it reminded him of eating little cookies as a child. Or, the non-literary version, when the critic eats the ratatouille in Ratatouille, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And he wrote an entire book, 7-volume novel called In Search of Lost Time, or Remembrance of Things Past, about his life. Every Japanese person's got to think about his whole life and every season he's ever had when he eats a potato.
I know.
I mean, do we have that here?
Well, is this the sweet potato? I don't know.
The McRib.
Wow.
It's back again.
I hope not.
I remember. The heart attacks past.
Pumpkin spice latte.
Okay, you got me there. And that takes me to another French writer, Baudrillard, who has great, who talks about the hyperreal and the fact that when you taste a pumpkin spice, it doesn't taste like a pumpkin.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't taste anything like a pumpkin.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
But you now associate the taste of pumpkin with a pumpkin spice latte
and fall,
and not the taste of a pumpkin.
Yeah, right. No, you got it. Exactly.
French guys know what they're doing.
Yeah, they do. Just like going to an apple orchard to pick apples is a common activity in the fall in the U.S., imo-hori, or potato digging, which is almost always specifically for satsumaimo, is a very common fall activity in Japan.
Digging on my potato. That's the title of an episode of Cowboy Bebop. Is that
really?
Is that what it is?
Maybe. I would not be surprised if that's what it is. This is particularly popular for a school field trip for young kids. It is intended to teach kids about the process of food going from a farm to their plates, their meals, basically. So, and creating a pile of fallen leaves and making a fire to slowly cook satsumaimo is just as the Senshi and the Ayakashi sisters did in this episode, is supposedly a popular thing to do and makes excellent yaki-imo. So roasted satsumaimo are called yaki-imo. Yaki again means grilled, roasted, or baked, and imo means potato or any kind of tuber. I have seen yaki-imo translated as both roasted and baked in Japanese sweet potatoes. But anyways, in the fall and winter, it is very common to see and hear yaki-imo vendors selling the warm and sweetly roasted satsumaimo on the streets in Japan, especially from a yaki-imo food truck. Yaki-imo trucks have been around Japan for a while. More traditional trucks have a red lantern and a stone oven, an oven that has small stones that heat up and cook the satsumaimo. The satsumaimo are traditionally slowly roasted and then kept hot in the oven as the drivers drive around slowly while a speaker plays a song about yaki-imo. The songs vary slightly from vendor to vendor, but all of them say something about yaki-imo to try to entice the neighbors to find the truck, like finding the ice cream man.
You say potato, I say potato. Yeah, but they want you to put sriracha on it, and
no, they don't. They do not.
That is a food truck.
Yeah, but they've
deconstructed it, and
that is not what this is like at all. But yaki-imo ya, that's what the yaki-imo trucks are called. Ya again is like a store.
Yeah.
Right. Originally consisted of a seller pulling their two-handed cart, which held a wood-burning stove that continually baked satsumaimo while the seller sang a song about yaki-imo to sell their wares.
What do you do if you can't sing?
I don't know that it matters because
Okay.
it's just kind of like you're hawking your wares, and you don't have to be in tune or sound good.
I'm more of a baritone. I don't know if I can really sell these the right way.
Right. I haven't gotten my lyrics just right. Should I?
Can I rap it?
Yeah, right. You can still occasionally find some of these traditional carts today, but they're not as common. Yaki imo are typically enjoyed plain, piping hot, so no sriracha. And the baking process usually creates a natural syrup just underneath the purplish crackling skin.
Yes. The Maillard reaction.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yes.
I mean, that makes sense, but...
We're going to go fact for fact someday.
Okay.
You watch your ass.
Okay. Baked whole yaki imo are frequently either broken in half to eat and wrapped in newspaper or eaten whole and served in a small paper bag. The newspaper and paper bags are meant to prevent your hands from the steaming hot tuber.
Sure.
Yeah. Due to a shifting economy, the number of yaki imo trucks in Japan has waned in recent years, making them a rarer sight today. However, you can buy yaki imo at convenience stores and grocery stores around Japan. So there is no shortage of yaki imo that you can try. I watched an entire YouTube video about a girl who absolutely loves yaki imo, and she was like,
I saw the same video.
And she's like,
it's called Sailor Moon.
No. She's like, I'm going to try all the yaki imo. And it's like different days. And she's like, oh, I haven't tried this one before. Oh, I got this kind and this kind. Let's try this one. This one is, and she's describing them. She's super into yaki imo. It's great. Anyways, Japanese sweet potatoes are a popular flavor for snack foods during the fall in Japan as well. This is a typical thing that you see, like seasonal snacks, and this is yaki imo and satsumaimo are no different. So momijigari, from the Japanese momiji, which means red leaves or maple tree, and kari, which means hunting, is the Japanese tradition of going to visit scenic areas where deciduous leaves have changed colors for the fall. The term specifically refers to the red leaves of the Japanese maple tree, but it is used for just going and observing the fall colors. Sure. It is also called koyo. Koyo is another pronunciation of the kanji characters for momiji. Which means fall colors and leaves, or leaves changing colors. And it also has another name in Hokkaido, which is kanpukai, which means getting together to view the leaves. Fall in Japan is gorgeous. The colors of the leaves are brilliantly bright, and there is a variety of red, orange, and yellow. There are also quite a few pine trees in Japan, so you have brilliant greens in the mix as well. It's very colorful. It's amazing. When I was in Japan for college, I especially loved going to Kyoto for momijigari, just absolutely stunning views of the temples and the shrines of the trees. And I love Japanese maple trees. Their leaves are very similar to the shaped to the trees in the U.S. They have the 5 points, but they tend to be quite a bit smaller in the size, and they tend to be a little bit pointier too, if that makes sense, and like a little bit sharper. But there's a lot of different varieties.
It's a maple leaf on a diet.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Maple leaf is cut.
The tradition of momijigari has had a great effect on Japanese culture since the Heian period, which again was 794 to 1195, with hunting for maple trees especially popular across the country. For Buddhists, momijigari is significant both spiritually and symbolically, as it reminds us that life, like the changing colors of the fallen leaves, is ephemeral. Momijigari is very similar to Hanami in this way. We take time to appreciate this fleeting moment in nature.
Sure.
And like Hanami, people often picnic for momijigari to appreciate the fall colors, but it tends to be more subdued, and it is not as common to do with large groups of people or within city limits. People kind of try to go out further out to really see the leaves and appreciate nature.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that we celebrate fall here is by going to Staples and buying a lot of like folders and highlighters and
I know.
Trapper Keepers.
I like going to apple orchards if I can.
Yeah, we do that too.
But yeah, I know. It's nice to kind of slow down and get to appreciate it.
Celebrating football.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Homecoming. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, there's no homecoming in Japan?
I actually, now that I don't know that there is.
Huh.
I don't know. They do other things for sports.
Well, they go out and look at the leaves.
Yeah.
All right, everybody take your helmets off.
Yeah. Don't quote me on that. I don't know if there is or not. But
well, maybe we'll get there soon.
Yeah. Momijigari also features prominently in 8th century Monyoshu poetry, which is the oldest collection of Japanese waka poetry.
Waka.
I know, I almost did it. As well as the Heian period novel, The Tale of Genji.
Yeah.
The Japanese made...
Genji ate like 8 sweet potatoes. It was so cool.
I know, right? Genji ate sweet potatoes before it was cool.
His barfing is so graceful.
Oh my god, gross. Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? I think we've pretty much covered it.
Yeah.
Yaki imo. So, yeah. Apparently you can roast them with leaves. And that's apparently also a thing that happens a lot at schoolyards in Japan.
Oh
They'll have no. It's not like unsupervised young children. It's like an activity, and like there are adults around and everything.
But even adults aren't Smokey the Bear.
I know.
So like Japanese fire brigades must be on high alert this whole season.
Well, and like supposedly you can tell how that it's cooked if you poke it with a stick and it gets pierced. So that I think maybe that's why. And then, like, Mako has a stick.
Yeah,
and
she's
she
got her
pulls it
stick.
out.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. At some point, maybe Sailor Moon will save somebody from a burning building, and we can talk about the fire departments in Japan.
Yeah, for sure.
Which, historically have been very important. I mean, they're always important.
Absolutely.
But especially with their wood and paper construction.
Yeah.
Fires are a real bad boy.
Real problem.
In Japan.
And the way they used to cook too with like they had like the little stove that was like kind of in the ground, but like they had a table over it and like it really
Yeah, right. Throw a blanket over that.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'll see you in heaven.
Yeah.
When we wake up dead.
Exactly.
And I'm trusting you.
Uh-oh.
But we're not going to talk about farting, but I'm trusting you that there will be an opportunity to talk about farting in the future.
I don't know for sure.
We can't let those farts pass us by.
Oh my God.
We had a fart in this episode, but this kid eats all day long and there's 130 episodes left.
I know, but this is the first fart that I remember.
Right. But I'm saying we can, like a fart, we'll let this one go by.
Okay.
But if it pops up again, we're going to deal with it.
Okay.
And I don't know if that goes in Kiro Kiro Miru or as a byproduct of food in Itidakimasu.
I don't want to put it in Itadakimasu. That's gross.
Think about it.
Oh my God. Villain gauge, we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. So no droid again in this episode. So we're going to talk about Calaveras and Petz and rate them.
Double feature.
Double trouble, double feature. So, I mean, we talked a little bit about them already, but yeah. I do think of them as a duo, and I don't think that they don't get as much, time to shine.
They are a duo, and as you talked before, and more I thought about it, I think they've just always been a duo, basically. Yeah. So, yeah, maybe it wasn't so unplanned or last minute, but what we lose with them being a duo, and just what the hell, throw a black hole in there, is we lose that last minute look into their characters.
I agree. Yeah.
That we got with Koan and with Berthier. So, I feel like I get their personalities, but I thought that we would get it, that extra grace note of motivation on why they're doing this.
Yeah.
We don't.
No, we don't. We don't get anything
in the
extra.
rating.
Yeah.
Probably talk about the youngest first.
Okay.
Age before beauty before age.
Yeah, Calaveras.
Lower age before beauty.
Wow. So I really like that. I love her look. And especially, I've talked about this before, but her bustier is like armor, and the contrast with the sweet skirt and the metallic top, I just love that. And I love her whip, and that she is ridiculously good at sales, and she is so catty. It's wonderful. And I actually, I don't know if you feel the same way, but I feel like she's actually, I feel like everybody has been bagging on Petz this entire time, and nobody has been riding her harder than Calaveras.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like no freaking wonder that Petz is like, screw all you guys in this episode. I mean, don't get me wrong. Petz is really mean and horrible to her sisters and freaking attacks them. So I'm not like, yay, Petz, but I understand where she's coming from. But anyways, I really enjoy Calaveras. I like her. She's sassy. I'm going to give her 4 out of 5 dark stars.
Okay. So it wasn't until we had 4 foils, 4 dark reflections of our sailors.
Yeah.
Subtracting, I guess, Usagi maybe in this case. Or if you want to go by the theory that Usagi and Minako are the same person, maybe it works out fine.
Wow.
Blonde A and Blonde B. It puts me in the mind of Teen Girl Squad.
Oh my, no, yes!
And the rest of the show could just be this. But we'll keep it short and maybe do a Teen Girl Squad thing later. But it put me in the mind of Teen Girl Squad.
I love Teen Girl Squad. I had a Teen Girl Squad shirt.
And if people don't know what I'm talking about, and I understand that because even on the internet, I guess it's kind of old. But
it is.
You've got cheerleader, you've got so-and-so,
What's
you've got
her face?
What's Her Face, and you've got the ugly one.
I know.
And Calaveras falls into that problem where 3 is great, 3 is company. Hey, let's come up with a saying. 3's company, 4's a crowd. Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
I know.
Yeah, you write that down. Where, if you've got a Trinity, if you've got a 3, it works. You've got Kirk, Spock, and McCoy.
Yeah.
You've got 3 other people that somebody else who's not obsessed with Star Trek would be able to figure out.
The Powerpuff Girls.
You've got the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
You've got... God, it seems like there should be some other Trinity. I just can't think of anything right now.
DC?
Yeah, DC. That's what I meant.
Okay,
so 3 is good, and 4 is like, well, that 4th one better be real great. You know what I mean? And I like Calaveras. Like I said before, I think she is my favorite of the Ayakashi sisters, but she definitely falls into a so-and-so.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? She's definitely kind of also there. And you pegged, and you were right, that her main role is just to antagonize Petz,
yes,
who is the de facto leader of the group. But as that, she never really rises to the level of a Starscream, or like the great foil with a lot of personality, who dogs the main bad guy or whatever.
Right.
She's just kind of there. And I like that she's got the most sass, but we're swimming in sass as far as the Ayakashi sisters go.
That's true.
So she never really reaches her full potential, which is going to bring her rating down.
Okay.
And it's going to be a 4 for me, dog.
I love how you make it sound like it's going to be so low.
Well, look, there's only 5 numbers, right?
I know.
And we could do a 0. I think we've done a 0 before, but it's already going to land high. If we're wondering where it's going to go, we know it's not going to be a 1 or a 2 or a 3. So is it a 4 or a 5? So it is a disappointment. It is a twist to say that it's just 4.
Yeah. Okay.
But I've laid out why I feel like
yes,
it is
you
that
have.
way.
Yeah.
Because she's so-and-so.
Does that make Petz the ugly one?
I love you, Brett.
So I feel Petz. I feel kind of bad for Petz because she's lovelorn and everyone is mean to her. It's tough being Petz. It's a tough life. But I do love her outfit, especially the feathers on her shoulders. And I love that color green. Dark Thunder, man, got a little sick of it this time around. Gee, I wonder why. but effective.
Get new material.
Yeah, right. Great. So, I'm going to give her 4 out of 5 dark stars.
Yeah. This was Pet's episode.
Yeah.
This was all about pets.
You're right.
Which is what hurt so-and-so so much. But yeah, like, she's got it going on, and if those Ayakashi girls didn't exist, she would be her own villain. Like if Rubeus didn't exist and they just came in and they're sisters, but like Petz is the one like sending everybody out, and she's like, looking at the mirrors and steepling her fingers. Like,
yeah.
I could see that. Like she's got the poise, she's got the look, but she doesn't get to do all that much because I think Berthier and Koan get more character development.
They do.
And she always has to run out with Calaveras, as a sidecar. So she never really gets to stretch those ginormous legs of hers. So which is why she's getting a 4 from me instead of a 5. These are the most depressing good reviews I've ever given.
I know. Okay. Here's an idea. Let's rate them as a group of villains, like the Ayakashi sisters as a total. I'm going to give them...
What?
Yeah. Like, if we're rating...
Oh. We haven't done this with other... Do you want... I'll tell you what. Just to keep this from going off the rails. Do you want to rank the groups of villains that we've had so far in terms of best to worst? Since there's only 3, I kind of know how it's already going to go. I think we're going to be in complete lockstep agreement. But we could do it.
That's really hard because Zoisite is so high for me, and I love Dark Kingdom in a lot of ways.
Right, but are you willing to say that he alone is going to carry the Dark Kingdom to the top of this list?
Yeah,
on his
maybe not.
skinny shoulders.
And I love Queen Beryl, but she's just sitting down and
right. But
delegating.
does she drag it down then? This is, you know what? We'll have to do this in the future.
Okay.
Maybe at the end of this arc. Write that down.
Yeah. Okay.
At the end of this arc, we will. When we do a wrap-up show, we'll talk about
groups of villains.
Our ladder of villains, yeah.
I like that ladder of villains. We'll get back to that. We'll climb it up and climb it down later and circle it back. Rewind
It's a long ladder.
Yeah.
Climbing it. What a thrill.
So for Sabu or Dabu, where we talk about the most interesting differences between the sub and the dub, in the Deke dub, the dialogue was written differently in that Petz and Calaveras took their sisters to try and get them to rejoin the Black Moon rather than simply for an execution.
Huh.
A scene where...
Let me convince you to come back. Dark Thunder!
Good point.
Convincing argument.
Yeah, right. Well, you're not listening to me, so I'm going to shock you. The scene where Minako tells Usagi that eating too many sweet potatoes will give her gas, and a squeak was heard. The sound was cut, and I'm assuming the dialogue was changed as well. So,
but what was it?
I don't know.
We didn't get all the way to the answer.
Well, it didn't say.
It reminds me of the original. It's no problem now, but the original TV edit of Blazing Saddles when they get to the campfire scene. And
it's been a while since I've watched Blazing Saddles.
Or you don't know what that movie is because you were, born this century or before. Mm-hmm. In the campfire scene where everybody's eating beans and farting, and that's the joke, there's 100 farts, they just cut all that audio. So it's just a bunch of people eating beans. And at the very end of it, somebody goes, "Can I get some more beans, Cookie?" And he goes, "I think you've had enough." And it's almost like Garfield without Garfield. It becomes like this weird existential bit.
That's so weird. That's beyond strange.
So once again, I got to hunt up the Deke dub and watch that scene. For no fart sound, and then what everybody is reacting to. We just have to guess.
Yeah, right. I know. In the dub, Mercury's Shaban spray attack was called Mercury Ice Storm Blast instead of its usual name, Mercury Bubbles Blast.
The point is, whatever.
They just changed the name of it. That it makes it sound like it's a different attack.
Right, but they do that all the time.
I know they do.
They walk down the street and it's
don't
like
keep track of it.
Super bubble walking.
They're like, oh, did we name this one
already? The whole
already?
point is that
I can't remember.
She's reaching deep into her repertoire for the power they need right now. To be honest, I have no idea what Shine Aquan Illusion even does. Like she just says it and people go, whoa, and then that affects things somehow. But I like the fact that we specifically need to get this stick away from this bench. And so we do it by, doing the old clouding the thing.
Yeah, I know.
And she's like, oh, where's everybody?
I know.
You saw the scene.
I did.
I don't need to describe it for you. And they even used the animation with the frame with the missing glove. It was like, it's fall.
Okay.
We're thinking about the year gone by.
Yeah.
It's a hidden nostalgia. I thought it was a great selection for that reason.
I have another question for you. You just reminded me. So at least when Koan was turned, she's wearing like a sleeveless shirt and she's got a little parasol and it's hot out.
Yes.
And then when Berthier is wearing her short little checker dress and everything, no sweater, no jacket, and then it's fall. So are we supposed to get that basically some time has passed and they've gotten to know these Koan and Berthier and they're now friends?
It kind of feels like every week is just a week, right? Or so.
I don't know.
Like every episode just takes place, the next week or so, unless otherwise indicated.
Yeah.
And so that's what I figured. Like they had enough time to... Koan's got a job. I don't know what Berthier's got a job too. I got to be on the pole at 4, so if we wrap this up.
Whoa.
Yeah, and then they're just having a get together, and that's all well and good. How much time goes from the fight on Rainbow Bridge to the opening of their makeup kiosk? I don't know. How do they get the capital together? Where does any of that come from? Oh, that's right. Berthier's got a job. So
My God.
However much time passes there, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just figure that's, it's just going week by week.
Okay.
We can count back and, we saw them leave spring and enter summer. And we literally had a Hanami viewing party.
Yes,
and
we did.
We're here now. And if you counted those episodes, it's probably the, 13, 14 weeks of summer.
I guess you're probably right.
I like the fact that we only get a quick glance, but Petz, I don't know if they're in uniforms or if this is their clothes now, but Petz is in, I don't know if I would have gone with this, but she's got like a pigeon breast jacket. It's like a very Edwardian kind of sort of thing. And this kind of fits, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
let's give her a big hat and she's tall green lady.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I mean, she's got giant shoulder pads, it looks like. So,
that's on point.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. So I have quite a bit of trivia.
Oh my God.
For this episode. So the first couple ones I'll try to do rapid fire here. So the Senshi utilized Sailor Planet power for the first time in this episode.
Ever.
Yeah, exactly. In the Korean dub, when Sailor Moon did Moon Crystal Power on Calaveras and Petz, instead of them being naked, it was edited so they were wearing black dresses. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you called me a crazy pervert, but apparently somebody else felt that way enough that they had to put digital dresses on them.
Yes, apparently.
Like Goku getting underwear.
Yeah, right. This is the final episode in the Deke dub in which Darien is voiced by Toby Proctor.
Oh.
And I will tell you why in just a minute. This is the big thing for this. So this is the last episode that was dubbed into English in the 1995 run due to poor ratings in the show's new time slot.
Huh.
Because of this, Deke dropped the dub of Sailor Moon and did not purchase the rights to the rest of the episodes in Sailor Moon R until 3 years later when the show became popular on Cartoon Network. So, time slots and ratings matter. I mean, Sailor Moon was shown really, I think we talked about before, it was shown really early.
So in your experience watching it when you were young, it just cut off here?
So I didn't kind of start getting into Sailor Moon until 96 or 97. And by then it wasn't on basic TV or TV at all in the US.
Okay. Well, listeners, if you were watching the show at this point and you remember it's, just cutting off and moving on to the next arc, I guess. Let us know on social media.
Yeah, it was a big deal. So Deke had purchased a syndication package, which I guess consists of like 65 episodes. And, they had cut quite a few episodes from the first season, so it cut off after this episode was the last episode for them, was this number 65. So in April 1998, Cartoon Network gained the syndication rights for Sailor Moon R, for all of Sailor Moon. And Sailor Moon debuted on Cartoon Network on Toonami on June 1st, 1998. And the final 17 episodes of Sailor Moon R, so starting with the next episode, 73, to the end of the run of R, premiered in November of that year through December, and they were strongly promoted as the Lost episodes.
Okay.
And the premiere was called The Lunar Eclipse.
Huh. So it's, people got to see it eventually.
Yes.
But...
That'd
be
were
very
like
frustrating if I was a child watching
people
this
were
thing.
very upset, and something else that was going on.
What is this crap?
Yeah, so some fans got together and created a fan site and a movement called Save Our Sailors, or SOS, who petitioned and campaigned to save Sailor Moon after UPN stopped airing the show.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was a big deal. But I should also mention, the run of R, like the first run of R, the way it aired was just really messed up, like not on top of this. So the series was aired out of order. So the episode, so the first episode of R that aired in English in the US was the episode where Chibiusa and the Black Moon Clan appear.
Okay.
And then that ran until this episode, and then they aired the Ale and On episodes, and then there was nothing for 3 years.
Where the other people went?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think it must have been incredibly confusing to watch it in that order. Yeah. It just like it just makes my head want to explode. So yeah.
Well, as we've pointed out on this show, there are some episodes, there are some things that happen, and it isn't necessarily something that you don't need to. If Ami is going to threaten to leave and then not leave, that doesn't have to fit into some continuity, right? All you have to know is that Chibiusa doesn't know who they are yet, she hasn't found the silver crystal, and yada yada yada. So that could kind of go anywhere. There's a couple things that can just sort of go anywhere.
There are.
But yet to or if you were watching it and then you had an idea of the order, or you had access to a list of episodes or something like that, and they were just showing them out of order, or you knew that one was going to come after, and then the next week it was a different one, or they were just jumped back in. No, now there's some aliens who are pretending to be high schoolers. It's like, what?
Well, it was...
Because what people maybe don't remember, if they're not old enough, that watching TV was a crapshoot.
It was different
back then.
Yeah.
Generally, if you were going to watch, let's say you were going to watch Cheers, which is on a network at a certain time, they would Cheers isn't designed to have any continuity really, but they would do new episodes, maybe 3 or 4 weeks long, and then they would do a rerun because the production is catching up, or they just don't historically, ratings wise, this is a time that maybe, I don't know, it's July 4th or something like that. They don't want to blow a new episode.
Nobody's going to be watching
nobody's watching. Yeah. And then if it was the case of a syndicated broadcast, then who knows?
Yes.
So when I watched The X-Files, when it was on TV, it was on Fox, which at that point was a 4th network that was not as big as the 3 because it was a new network. So they ran a lot of syndicated stuff and a lot of their first run stuff because they didn't have as many shows as other networks. So X-Files was on Sunday night, and at 7 o'clock they'd show the new episode, and at 8 o'clock they'd show a rerun.
And it could just be any random rerun.
So on some affiliates, if they were doing that, yes. But the college town that I was in, the local station would show the new one, but then they would show a old one, but they would show those old ones in order. So a lot of times when we were watching, we were interested in what was going on in the new one, but
Of course.
we were trying to fill in our knowledge of the old ones.
Right.
Because we didn't have TiVo. It existed,
Yes.
but we didn't have it.
Right.
And there's no way to watch older ones.
Mm-hmm.
So you would hear about the Fluke Man episode because you read about it in Entertainment Weekly or something like that, but you'd never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
But you knew it was the 17th episode of the second season. So, some Sunday night you'd be like, oh, okay, this is the one with the black sucking vampire, the vampire that turns black people into white people. I know that the Fluke Man one is 3 weeks after that. So for the next 4 weeks, every Sunday night, we'd be stuck to the TV, waiting for the Fluke Man one to come out so I could finally see the Fluke Man one.
Oh my God. Were
Now,
you literally waiting for
want
the
to see Fluke Man? Got my phone out. Beep, bop, boop. Fluke Man. Done.
Yeah, exactly.
What a wonderful world we live in.
I know. Well, now we're up to our rating. I like that we get a scene at the beginning of this episode that shows more how Koan and Berthier have become friends with the Senshi and Chibiusa, and of course how ridiculous Usagi is with the Japanese sweet potatoes. I like that Petz and Calaveras are still so competitive with each other. It's kind of ridiculous. I do think that this episode, like we've talked about, feels rushed and truncated. It doesn't feel like it has the same emotional weight as the previous two episodes that focus more on a single Senshi and a single Ayakashi sister. Like, not only is it like not really, it's a Petz and a Calaveras episode, but it's really more of a Petz episode. But it doesn't really focus on Jupiter and Venus at all, unlike the other episodes.
No, there isn't really
we missed
any.
that too.
Yeah.
So that bums me out also. But I do think it is an important episode because important things happen in it. I just think that it could have been done better. So I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 roses.
Okay. Boy, that's another hit that I didn't really think about. The fact that, I guess like Mina and Mako both get to be instrumental in the episode. They both get to do something.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily show up their counterparts or, they're prove that, they're better in some way. It just kind of happens.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Despite that, I'm still going to give it 4.
Oh, okay.
I like the fact that the show is back on its BS, introducing us to cultural elements, which is what keeps this show alive.
Yes.
I like that. I like I like this. I like the idea. I like this arc. I like the fact that it's a little on nose at the end, but they're like us. But we win because we're friends, and we infect them with that.
With our goodness and our love.
It's what we talked about, the Sith prophecies, the worst thing's going to happen to you. You're going to be happy forever.
Yeah, right.
The fact that they're able to change them for that reason, but yet they're not too changed. They're still kind of at each other's throats.
Yes.
That's all good. It unfolds, if not predictably, satisfyingly. And for that reason, I got to give it 4.
Okay.
It was strong.
All right. My English title is Petz's Dilemma, Power versus Love.
Power versus love.
Yeah.
That's a good way to go.
Yeah.
My Deke title is Steamed Yams. It's an Albany expression.
Okay.
You wouldn't have heard of it in Utica.
Next episode, we're talking about episode number 73. UFO Shutsugen, Sara Waleta Sera Senshi Tachi in Japanese. A UFO appears, the Sailor Guardians abducted, the English translation, and the English title, Rubeus evens the score, part 1 of 2.
A UFO appears.
Yes.
It already has, but okay.
Yeah.
The Sailor Scouts are abducted.
I know.
Okay.
It's okay. You're telling us exactly what's going to happen.
Well, I'm just paying off predictions that I made.
Yeah,
Nobody
I know.
really cares. Why do we do
care.
it? Why do we bother?
I care. You were right.
I want every ounce of glory for predicting what's going to happen in a show for 10-year-olds.
Should we keep score?
You should see me. I kick the crap out of Sesame Street. I'm like, oh, look. It's the letter R, everybody. Watch this. They're going to sing. Yeah, they're singing. I'm pretty proud.
Oh, here comes Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
He's gonna eat those cookies.
He's gonna eat the cookie by putting it in his mouth and then moving around so
Yes.
vigorously, it just disintegrates.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Do you think that they use no, less baking powder? These cookies have to just disintegrate.
Probably.
In a puppet actor's hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Crumbles in his hand, not in Cookie's mouth.
Well, that's our show for this week. In the name of the moon, we'll be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Steamed yam.